Hello, everyone. Welcome to my weekly reflection, my weekly introspection, my weekly digestion, metabolizing of my inner experience, where it's through me metabolizing and sharing, it creates a change, an insight, an experience in you. And that's my intention in life, to share, and through my sharing, for people to create access into their own internal experience. So I am very pumped. I'm feeling very alive because I just had nearly 2 hours of doing what I love the most. And it's being in the conversation that changes lives, that changed life. And that's a life of my client. And this is what I absolutely love doing. Being in transformative conversations with people, being in the loving conversations, being in truth-revealing conversations. There's so much power in the conversation that can be created if it's done intentionally. And today I have been reawakened to the power that I have as a creator, to the responsibility that I have to create more of that. I have been very doubtful, very fearful. Very scattered in the way of forgetting who I am and forgetting my own power. And it's interesting how it keeps coming back through conversations. And I'm noticing now that I don't know where I'm going, and part of me is like, just stop this, stop recording this, start again, make it perfect. And that's the beauty that I want. That's the beauty. So experiencing my own power as a coach that I've lost for the past few weeks, really questioning, like, who am I as a coach? Because it's been a challenging journey of self-discovery, challenging journey of how do I translate this power that I have to others? How can I create an experience for others to experience me in my power, and in turn experiencing the power that they're receiving, and are able to create from that power. And one of my biggest contemplations this week has been, do I want to lean or return to coaching from the perspective of health? Because holistic health was what I was studying for my coaching qualification. And so I never actually went into it. I always kept health as my own thing, as my own lifestyle. I wasn't really bringing it up in the context of coaching. And now for the past week, I've been really present to the fact how everything in my life is around health, apart from coaching. And so questioning whether I want to actually move back into being a holistic health coach and approaching coaching from the perspective and the lens of health, and more specifically holistic health, which is life. So everything is intertwined, and at the end of the day, it's just a label. But those fucking labels are fucking up with our minds and confusing, and so many questions, so many confusion, so much confusion. It's like, am I a life coach? Am I a holistic health coach? And am I an empowerment coach? Am I this coach? It's just like, just drop it. I am a coach, and it doesn't matter which context I'm coming from. So still noticing the resistance of saying that I am stepping into holistic health coaching, and this will be my context for coaching. And part of me now reflects back onto the conversation I just had with my client, and it's like, oh, but that wasn't really health, because we talked a lot around creating time to enjoy life now as opposed to delaying it for later, and how that created an experience of being in the doing and forgetting the fun and the play and the joy of life. And I'm like, part of me is like, oh, I don't want to lose that. I want to keep doing this because it's so powerful. I'm so good at it. And the other part of me is like, I'm not losing that. That is health. That is health. Your connectedness to yourself and to life and to play and to exploration is health. Because if you're unhappy where you are, that's health, right? That affects your body and your emotional state and your physical state and everything, your relationships. So everything is kind of intertwined together. And it's interesting to observe those doubts and those fears and whatnot. But also the big lesson for me this week is not thinking my way into action, but actually acting and allowing the insights to come from the action as opposed to the other way around. And this is something I shared in my previous week about the inspiration, how we wait for inspiration to come in order to take action. And it's the same for other things, not only inspiration, but how we're waiting for clarity to come so we can take action, which is false, which is what we're deluded to believe, when in reality is you take action and the clarity comes. So stepping into this mindset of action and then dealing with whatever comes, instead of thinking how I should take the action, how, why, when, And yeah, I stopped my 75 hard challenge for the third time, and I failed it. And I say this without shaming or guilting myself, but I'm saying it from the perspective of owning my failures and seeing my and celebrating my failures and seeing my failures as a building blocks to my success, to my future, to who I am. So failing 75 hard wasn't hard to fail. It was actually a very easy choice. And it was a choice of a glass of wine, which was very effortless. I didn't need to think of, oh, I'm failing this and It was just like, I just want this glass of wine, and it was choice from my core, from my heart, and I just wanted that, and I chose that, and that meant failing the challenge. And I think if I wouldn't have failed it 3 times, I probably would be around the finish line now. But what I'm taking from this is, if I zoom out and I look at the period of 60 to 70 days of working out for twice a day, eating clean, eating healthy, not drinking, reading. I read 2 or 3 books. It's huge. It's huge, and that's, I think, such an important lesson for all of us to come back to come back to the zooming out. You know, we get so focused on this one experience that didn't have not gone the way we wanted to, and we get so hard on ourselves. But then if we zoom out in the grand scheme of things, like it's a tiny breadcrumb that doesn't even matter. And those failures are the becoming of who we are. So also another thing that I've got back into it is continuous glucose monitoring. So I've got the sensor here in my arm, and that was another contemplation. I'm like, I want to explore different foods and different drinks and different things and see how my blood glucose is being affected. And challenge was kind of in the way of that. So now I won't be resuming the challenge. I will allow myself to explore how my blood glucose works, consuming foods that I don't normally consume, just to gain that perspective and wisdom and knowledge into my experience, into how my body reacts to food. So that's my new challenge. Yeah. So it's been an interesting week of stepping back into my power, and I'm really grateful for my friends, especially Nessa, who has held such a beautiful space for me in my confusion, in my lostness, in my doubting of myself. Just a reminder of being you and knowing that it's so fucking priceless. Being you is the greatest gift that you can offer to the world. Yeah. I started writing a poem around flow and structure, and this week has been a big one for me in terms of seeing still how much resistance there's against structure and planning things, and following through. Being one of essence of flow and feeling and dancing and moving, I really neglected the structure, and that really shows in my business, because I'm not being effective and I'm not creating the results and the outcomes that I would love to create, because I'm resisting structure, I'm resisting discipline, having the story in my head that it would somehow limit my self-expression, my creativity. So I've been very fortunate to connect with a coach, whom I'll be working with now, that is completely opposite of me, that is very much structure. And she's coming from the background of science, neuroscience, and law. So she's very much strategic and focused, and so it's a beautiful complement to who I am. And it was beautiful to experience the contrast, and that reminded me of the fact that it's so important to seek that, because I've been kind of swimming in the waters of a lot of love and acceptance, and kind of people who are with the similar perspectives onto life. And it's been great. But also, it's so refreshing to be with someone who is not necessarily from that space, from that bubble of people, but from a completely different angle, coming into my experience and showing me things that I'm oblivious to. So this lesson of seeking for contrast, seeking for opposite opinion, and her reflecting to me, it was beautiful because she didn't know me before we got on the call. And she was reflecting to me how there was a lack of passion, lack of enthusiasm, lack of aliveness. She was like, "You're defeated." And my ego was like, "What is she on about? I'm the happiest person I know." Like, look, everyone says that, you know, everyone sees my aliveness and enthusiasm. And then I sat with it for a bit and I'm like, fuck. It's been a while actually since I felt that connected and joyous and alive. And I am still to a degree, but it's more of like this childlike playfulness and experience and expression, which is interesting because this is what I've talked with my client just now about nurturing that inner child and allowing yourself to play and to have fun and to be silly and not care. And it's interesting how through my coaching conversations I always get coached myself through the experience of my clients, which is why I love doing this work, because it always reminds me of what I need to cultivate more and play with more. And yeah, this week has been very connected in a way of, there was a lot of different conversations being had, different videos watched and podcasts listened to, and it felt like everything just connecting and clicking, and everything just spoke to me. And I just realized that this video might have no sound. I hope it does, because I've connected the mic and I forgot to connect it on the phone. Anyway, hopefully it is recording. But yeah, the sense of realignment, that everything is kind of speaking to me and I'm hearing it and everything is landing. And it's vast and it's broad, and I'm not gonna try and go in and explain it, but yeah, it's just interesting to experience different flavors of different weeks and how, yeah, we go through these different waves of intensity, contraction, and then expansion, and just appreciating that life is not one line. Life is all about experience and ebbs and flows, and it's how we are enjoying that. How are we taking it? Are we flowing with the current of life, or are we flowing against the current of life and we're resisting and we're judging and we're rejecting it? Why is it happening? And this and that. Or are we saying, ooh, this is the experience that I'm in. It's painful. I'm noticing, and I'm allowing it to move through me, and I'm moving with it, and I'm taking action, and I'm creating something new. Yeah. I feel like I will end here. I feel like I could go on for hours, but I guess that's what was alive and present, and the essence as much as possible. Yeah, I wanted, before the call, I wanted to like jot down the things that I want to talk about, and I was like, I want to be more intentional with these, and the intention was there, and the energy took over. So I allowed the energy to flow, instead of trying to make the points and whatnot, and just trusting that whatever needs to be expressed and shared will be. Yeah, that's me. That's me. That was my week. A lot of insights, a lot of beauty, a lot of pain, of a lot of struggle, a lot of confusion, a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, and just riding all of those emotions and allowing them to be okay and not making them mean anything. Even though yesterday I was honestly planning my life as a crew member on a cruise ship, just sailing away from everything, and now I can just laugh at myself for spending like probably 3 hours applying for different jobs and wanting to escape the intensity of life and not wanting to face whatever is there for me to face and work through and deal with. Yeah, the escapism and quitting is so easy, and it's been such a big part of my life, and now I'm like, I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere for now until the next trigger comes, and I might go through the same turmoil again, and how long can I stay in the game of life? I love you. Thank you for being with me, and if anything came through you as you were listening, I would love to know. Yeah, I would love to have a conversation and hear, what is it that you're experiencing? How was your week? If you want to share, I would love to hear. And if anything resonated, I would love to know as well. I love you. Mwah. Ciao for now.